it's Teresa Shaver from the Business Advisory Centre Durham. I'm here today with Sunny Wishart from À La Carte Financial. Sunny, welcome. It's so good to have you here.
Oh, thanks so much for having me. I'm super excited.
Me too. So I'd reached out on social media to say, hey, businesses and people who follow, reach out to us. We'd love to hear how you've been able to pivot your business or what's changed for you during this, 2020 year of COVID. In fact, my husband says, can we stop calling it COVID-19? 2019 was a great year. 2020, a little hairy, but it is what it is. We're all trying to deal with it. So I'd love to tell our listeners and our viewers just a little bit more about what do you do at À La Carte Financial? How long have you been there? How did you get involved and why and all those sort of things?
Yeah, À La Carte Financial started over 3 years ago now, and I started on my own. I left a wealth management firm and just needed a lot more flexibility in my life. And I was looking to, be home with my son, who you might hear running around in the background. And it's a fee-for-service financial planning business, which I think is the up-and-coming way to go, is to get unbiased financial planning, no tied product selling along with it. So I really, really passionate about that.
Okay, so that's very different to a lot of the norm, right? So tell us a little bit how that operates for À La Carte. Walk us through the process of what you do with the client.
Absolutely. I have my top three. So my most popular service would be a Clean the Money Clutter. So it's a 3-month, basically boot camp. I go over all your statements, I look at all your transactions, and we look at your real spending and then create budgets around income. It's just about making ends meet, no red every month. And being fair too. I do believe in life and fairness and, what do you enjoy most? Let's budget for that. You like your pretty nails? Let's try to put them in there, that kind of thing. So I work closely with families for 3 months, get them on the right track, just cash flow management out of the gates. Another one that's popular is retirement planning. So I get my hands on people who are just about a few years out and really don't have a concept of what the money's going to look like. So I got some fancy software. I can look at the types of government pensions they can expect and just show them a true cash flow and tax planning around that too. Those two services, they keep me pretty busy.
Right. And so what made you transition? I imagine from what you mentioned earlier that you were in wealth management before, so you're probably in some fairly traditional organizations.
I think there was a few things behind it. Number one, flexibility. I didn't have any when I was slogging downtown every day and running to the daycare and doing that. That was the one important thing. But then once I dove into it and went out on my own, I realized I really truly want to help people with money, like cash flow. Wealth management, we don't help with cash flow unless you have millions of dollars in liquid assets. Then we'll help you and give you cream of the crop financial plans.
Right.
But what about the people who are just going to work and paying their bills and wondering if this is working? Who's helping them? They're paying all those fees, and I'm super fee averse. I help them tidy all that up too, because that's important. I find that $10 a month matters when you're just, like I say, money's coming in and money's going out. So
right.
I really wanted to help those people, and they became my passion.
Awesome. So how, during this time you've had to transition to working online, how's that been for you? How did you do it?
It was the best push with the pandemic for me to just do it, because I was very intimidated to make the change. And I knew I needed to, because my clients span coast to coast across the country. And so I was doing phone calls and, of course, looking at time changes and things like that. But I didn't feel like I really was getting to know the client because I was too intimidated to start the Zoom culture. And I would send PDF files to them or whatnot. So this just thrusted me into, you just have to, because even your local clients, you can't go meet them anymore. So I just got on there and fumbled around and spent some time with it. And it has been just so wonderful for my business to see people, see they're doing okay, because you're worried about everybody, right? So I can actually look at them, see that they're doing okay, and present the report. The shared screen is such a cool feature. So I'm not printing all this paper I was doing before as well. So it helped me move forward into the paperless culture as well, which I wanted to do too, to reduce
Right.
all that. So.
True. Are there any specific systems or tools or apps that you use that really work well for your business? Apart from Zoom?
I am forever seeking a good app. Something I've really liked. I use Wave. So
Yes, I
for
like
all,
it.
yeah, I wouldn't have gone for that unless of course, for my business banking, they solicited me to try it. It's free, and I clicked OK, and I went through. I'm like, this is just a wonderful, neat thing that I use to track and make my bookkeeping, accounting, all that stuff easier. And other things. I use Wix. I love them. And Canva. That is such a neat
Yeah.
way to do promotional items or anything, really, not just business, but personal stuff.
Yeah. I use Canva. I really enjoy it for sure. Wave apps, really good. And it's Canadian. Bookkeeping software is awesome. Zoom. What about, I mean, I don't know about you, but like a lot of customers I have, clients at BACD, start to get into that point when they start to grow, where they have all these systems and processes that they're trying to integrate with each other, right? I don't know if you've run into that.
Yeah, I do suffer from I have calendar issues, just trying to get my calendars to work, all to my personal calendar, my work calendar. Like I really like to use Outlook for
Yeah.
my calendar. It's just what I'm used to from the corporate world. It has the capabilities I need for my note taking, but it just doesn't translate to my Android. And then I tried Google Calendar, but it doesn't have the capabilities I'd like. So I find that's something I'm forever struggling with, is the perfect calendar system. And sometimes I say I'm going to throw it out and go back to paper. I don't, but I can't go backwards.
You can't go back to paper. So I don't know if you've noticed with Google Calendar, but it has come along lately. So it does allow quite a bit of formatting and, linking and putting a whole bunch of content in the description. You can also like book appointment slots, and you can then find suggested times with a bunch of people. So those were features that were never there before. I think they were like Outlook features. They've come alongside, but you're right. I mean, that's a common thing that I talk about, or issue with customers, is like, do we stay in the Office, Microsoft Office suite? Do we move to the G Suite? In fact, I just did a workshop yesterday on the whole of the G Suite. And I mean, it doesn't matter which one you do, as long as you embrace all the pieces of it, because it makes it easier for you as a business, right? You need to kind of stick to the same ecosystem. It just makes sense, right? So like for BACD, we use the G Suite for everything, but we used to use Microsoft Office, and we have Mac computers, but so far the G Suite seems to work really well for us.
Oh, that's good to hear. I definitely need to maybe dive a little more into it, because having something integrated across the board would it would help any calendar blunders.
I know, they happen. Even then, it's still not a perfect world. Sometimes something goes wrong and you have it on the wrong place on the wrong day or whatever, right? So it does certainly happen. So tell me about the benefits for you for working online. I mean, we've talked, you've done it and you had to do it, but what have the benefits been to you and your business?
I find it's kept it going. So the stalling didn't happen as much as I thought it would, because I do a program called Checkpoints. So it's where I'll meet with some of my regular clients on monthly, quarterly, whatever they feel necessary basis for an accountability. It's great because we can keep that going, and we haven't had to halt any of that. So I've really appreciated keeping the Checkpoint services going. And I'm presenting a retirement plan this afternoon through Zoom. Like, none of it's had to stop.
Right.
Which unfortunately, in March when I got my son home, and I needed to stop.
Our kids have been home for 6 months, right?
Longest March break ever.
It was
Yeah.
6 months long. And look, we love our kids for sure, but it is a welcome. It's a welcome thing when you can leave the house and go to your business, right? Or not. So
Mhm.
that does certainly happen.
Mhm.
Yeah, I hear you. So another question I have for you is, well, how do you continue networking during this time? What have you been doing to still grow your business and market yourself and all of that?
Well, I'm part of the BPA group, so we're still virtually meeting weekly, which is great. I need that
Yeah.
just to see my people and to network. And something I have been thinking about this a lot. How do you, as a, instead of just Facebook posts or LinkedIn posts or whatnot, how do I keep out there and keep relevant? So I started writing. I really feel like when it comes to your money, it matters that you feel relatable and that you're not this, I'm a financial planner. I've obviously done no wrong with money. I'm doing everything perfect. So I started writing a 4-part series from my blog to unveil my own financial journey to perhaps make me more relatable, get that out there to my clients or subscribers, and they can learn a little bit more about me. And I thought maybe this would be a good way to market myself
Yeah.
and put it out there.
And how has it been working?
I haven't launched it yet. I'm
Okay.
just using the Canva to create the hype.
Yeah.
Writer series coming soon. Things get real. So I think I'm trying to think of when's a good time. I might set it out maybe around the first week of school.
Yeah. Which
Something
is
around
staggered
there.
for so many people across Canada, right? So it's like
Yeah.
some people are going back September the 11th, some earlier, some
Yeah.
later, which seems to be like all over the place, but
Yeah, the first day of school doesn't exist. We're September 11th people. We got in that cohort. That's okay. We'll get there. I thought that would be a good time to put
right.
put my stuff out there just to create a bit of a schedule around that. And I thought that might be a neat marketing tool.
I think that's a good idea because yes, people don't like to talk about their money, but really, if you take control of it, then it is just one of those areas of your life that you don't need to think about, that you don't know or you don't know what's going on. And so I think if you really look at it, and reflect and see what it is, you can fix it if there's something wrong.
Absolutely. That's, look it in the eye and take your head out of the sand. I do that a lot with not only cash flow, because money coming in, money coming out. Oftentimes when I meet with families, it's every month is red. They're in the red, they're in deficits. I think that's important. I think getting your head out of the sand about your credit score, because that's such a powerful tool. And encouraging people to, monitor these things and keep an eye on these things. And the way I work with them is to try to keep it easy to automate as much as possible, simplify as much as possible, take away, because it's overwhelming. We get
Right.
overwhelmed, and that's when we look away.
What tools do you have in mind, or can you suggest for like automation?
Pre-authorized as much as possible. I think, there's no need to gather roughly every month your cell phone bill or your hydro bill or whatnot.
Yeah.
So I average them all out. Usually I'll look at several months of hydro. I'll average it out, and it's approximately this. So just automate it, and we look to do that as much as possible.
Right. And
And
so then
before all
you get
this,
a bill. So one month
yeah.
your hydro bill is $80, and the next month it's 120, and the next month it's 170, and then it's 100, and then it's 80 again. So if you just pay $100 every month, there'll be months where you have credits and months where you don't, right? Is that what you're suggesting?
Well, I'll average it out. So say that averages to 120 in the middle. So when I look at their cash flow every month, I'll put in 120 as their obligation. So they'll build up in their account and deplete in their fixed expenses. So
Right.
utilities, mortgage, all that stuff. And then the variable expenses will be in a separate area to track that, because it's those grocery bills that Did you spend $500 on groceries at Costco, or did you buy a rug? You
The
don't
grocery is
know.
a problem for sure, especially now. I feel like it's gone up so much.
This is true. I've noticed that for sure.
I mean, I use what I used to buy for like $80, $85. Now, honestly, it's probably 120, 130, 140. So it's a lot more than I used to spend.
Absolutely. They are going up. And to keep an eye on that too, to realize your grocery bill now isn't $80 a week. It's 120 a week. And to make that change in your cash flow, I find that's what catches us up to us the most. Our expenses are always increasing.
Right.
And we don't make the change. Often you see that with the classic case is the first time home buyers. So people get married and they buy a house, then they have a kid. The money changes dramatically along that stereotypical process. And it has to be updated and looked at, but you can't keep your old habits. Because
No.
now you have a mortgage, you have property taxes, you have utilities. Oh, and then you have an EI from that lead coming in as well. So to constantly update.
Very true. So what are the top things you would suggest to people to really get on top of their money management, apart from coming to see you?
So when you sit down with these classic budgeting sheets, so you print off whatever budgeting sheet and you fill in the blanks, I don't find those work because you're going to forget something that you do. So the best way, if you're looking to create a fair and foolproof budget, is to print all the last month or two's transactions from all accounts, credit
Ouch.
cards, all of them, and look historically what you've spent, because that's your lifestyle.
Right.
And if you don't look historically and you just think, how many times you'll lowball? My groceries are $80. Well, in fact, they're $120. And that's not fair to you or your family to lowball your expenses.
Right.
So look in the past, look what your lifestyle is accustomed to, and see there if the ends are meeting, then that's great. And then you know you're doing okay. But if you're seeing red, then we got to make some changes, and you can look in the categories for where to make the changes.
Right. Right. Are there any apps that you use with your clients to help them manage their money, or any, I always see like mint.com or something like that, but I'm not sure. I really don't like Mint myself.
I didn't either. I tried Mint and I deleted it. I didn't like it. I find it's not a real picture, like, even because there's lots of wonderful apps built into online banking. So all the big banks, they've created neat budgeting tools, and they show you that pie chart where you spent this much on travel and this much on gas.
Yeah.
But those are so skewed as well, I suppose. So, I look at mine and it said in June, I spent $6,000 on travel. And I thought, well, I didn't go anywhere. What was that? And I have a trailer. It was my trailer park fees.
Okay.
Told me I went somewhere, and I thought, this is how these just don't know how you truly spent your money. So, and again, like I say, the Costco's, the Walmarts, you could go to Walmart and service your car and it's going to show up as groceries.
Yeah.
So I'm just not happy with these.
I know. It's the same as like going to Metro. My husband, I'm like, why is our Metro bill so high? And it's because he's buying beer at the Metro and not food.
Yeah, and to separate those things, and you just can't. Or even, we have a gas station up at our trailer, and we're always buying gas for the boat at the gas station. or now they sell liquor there, and it's saying it's Ultramar. I'm like, no, that was wine.
Costs as much as gas, I tell you, even more.
It really does.
So true, so true. So, I mean, I get the point is that I think people should reach out to you if you want to really be able to put together a smart budget, and spending and saving plan, then that is really worth getting someone to do that for you, and do it with you so that they can help you. I mean, it's something you're an expert in. Mm-hmm. And we go to dentists for our teeth, and we go to doctors for our health. We should go to financial people for our finances, right?
Yeah, I find it, I just love getting my hands on people's statements and just digging in, and how, you'll see over $100 a month in banking fees. You think, okay, and I can make those change. I can help with those changes, and that money matters so much.
Yes.
To put that
It
back in your
could be your
pocket.
hydro bill, right? That you're getting paid for. Do you change people to certain bank accounts? Like if you see that much in bank fees, or how do you get around those?
Um, well, when I'm looking historically on bank statements, I can see the types of transactions that are
Yeah,
being done. So I can get, and I'll ask them up front. The beauty of being an unbiased planner is you can bank wherever you're comfortable with. I'm not going to try to switch your investments or your banking, or sell you insurance, that type of thing. But I'm going to take a good hard look at them
yeah,
and let you know that, okay, you have 3 TD accounts at $15 each. This is unnecessary. Or I'll look at your lifestyle. Perhaps that is necessary, but you're only doing this many transactions. Reduce it to the lower fee one.
right.
So, and if they're on the fence about their institution and they're looking for recommendations, I'm like, if you want, there are, banks out there that don't charge fees.
Right.
So just to let them know what the options are available out there, not to make them make the change if they're not comfortable, but to know, you could do this if you want to save X amount of dollars.
Very true. I like that because I mean that most of us don't even get into all of that, right? We don't understand all the cards we're buying, like the cards we're using for our credit and what that costs. And you're right, absolutely
Mhm.
true. It doesn't make sense you need to look at those things.
We get hung up on point systems. So, what this credit card gives me these points. Yes, but you're carrying a high balance at a high interest rate plus a massive fee every year. Those points nowhere near counteract the amount you're spending. So redeem them, switch the card. And to tell people you can switch your card, you can
Right.
do it over the phone. It's not a big deal. It's very easy to do, and it'll save you buckets.
I like it. So, hey, I appreciate your time today, Sunny. It was really nice to get a chance to chat with you. I know that you've used BACD services in the past, and I thank you for that. And we're going to make sure I have Sunny's contact information for you so that everybody can get in touch with her if you so need. But thank you so much for your time. It's been awesome to chat with you.
Thanks for having me. Yes, the BACD is an awesome outlet if you're looking to start entrepreneurship or you just need a little freshen up in certain areas. They've helped me with social media. They told me about Canva. So
Thank you. Canva is awesome. What a great way to do your own stuff, right? If you have the time and you have the ability, then go ahead and do it. Yeah. Thank you again. I so appreciate your time.
thank you.
Have a wonderful day.
You too.